Australia Water Partnership. Earlier in this week, we heard about the Australian Water Narrative, which is about a journey that's 30 years long. Thank you very much, Barry. That's at least 30 years long and involves lots of organizations and lots of actors. We want to share the experiences out of that with the Asia Pacific and also learn from them and all the people, the many actors there and the many organizations there about their experiences. The main way we're doing that is through projects, but we're also doing it through a particular initiative called Kini, which Karen Delfau is going to tell us about now. So Karen's from the International Water Center Alumni Network, and I'll hand it over to you. Thank you, Karen.
Excellent. Thank you, Ralph, and thank you all for coming to listen to this brief introduction to Kini, the Kini Initiative. My name is Karen Delfau, and I am the Executive Director of the International Water Center Alumni Network. And I'm also here representing the French office of the Australian Water Partnership. Our little joke, right? I live in France. As you can hear from my accent, I'm actually from California, and I work in Australia, primarily focused on the Asia Pacific, so go figure. It's really good to be here. That's who I am. Ralph is also a key partner in this initiative. But what is this initiative? The Kini Initiative is in place in order to facilitate the transfer of knowledge between Australia and the Asia Pacific. And as Dr. Jane Doolan presented yesterday, we have this fantastic and very informative Australian water reform journey narrative that she has written, which is an outstanding and very concise summary of what has happened over the last 20 years and actually what has happened over the last 100 years, she was saying yesterday. So Kini, in terms of transferring knowledge, is looking at this document and saying, how can we turn a very concise, academic, and intelligent report into something that can be taken up and used? And I'm going to just show you my one slide. Thank you. Anyway, there's just one image that I want to share with you. And this represents the approach that we are taking as a part of the Kini Initiative to translate this knowledge into something that can be used by practitioners and taken up, here we go, and can be taken up by different policy decision makers, people who are actually trying to use this knowledge. Because let's talk about this. If you take this document and you go into a policy meeting and you say, here's the information that we have, it's not always entirely digestible. We want to create tools that you can use that are digestible and usable in order to communicate some of the key messages. And we're developing a series of 10 infographics at the moment. We're developing other communication tools, doing interviews with project partners, looking at how to actually start down the water reform journey. What's the very beginning stage of this? So in terms of an infographic, this is something to start a conversation. And there is one glaring omission from this, and I will say that there is not fisheries represented, and that is going to be changed very quickly, very soon. But overall, what it is, the purpose of this is to start the conversation. Within your catchment, what are the users? Who's using the water? What are the uses? What are the benefits that are being derived by those users? And then from there, how do you transfer that into a cross-sectoral approach? So this is an example of one of the tools that Kini is looking to design and develop. Why? Why are we trying to do this? We are trying to do this because there's a lot of knowledge out there. We actually are in a knowledge-saturated, platform-saturated environment, but a lot of times those dots aren't being connected. And the objective of the Kini Initiative is to figure out how to connect those dots, how to make those links peer-to-peer within the Asia-Pacific region and between Australia and the Asia-Pacific region. When? Well, this is actually a brand new project. We just began at ground zero. I hadn't even had a chance to look at the narratives, unfortunately, when we began, which was in July. So this is now a 3-month-old project, and we're looking to, over the last 3 months, I've done some research. I've done a comprehensive literature review on knowledge management, knowledge sharing within the region in the water sector. Also spoken with practitioners within the Asia-Pacific region to figure out how they communicate, how they get knowledge, what kinds of knowledge they need. And moving on from there, we're starting to develop some products that can be shared. How? That's the other question. The final question, the question that's not the easiest one to answer. I don't think we even really know the best way to get knowledge transferred across an international context. People like to have face-to-face opportunities to discuss things, to discuss their challenges, to see who the experts are, who the role models are. We've identified that. We can't exclusively use the online platform, but it does serve a purpose to start a conversation. With tools like this, there's an opportunity to discuss what about this fits within your catchment? What doesn't fit? What's missing? How do you actually approach this in the initial stages? So Kini is looking at reaching out throughout all the existing social networking mechanisms, everything that everyone's used that I've been speaking with, and seeing what's going to be taken up. And we might find that, for example, a lot of conversations are happening on Facebook. Maybe there's a lot of external or internal knowledge platforms that already exist there. People are just all of a sudden running and taking off with this. We don't know what that's going to look like at this stage. And that's going to be the second stage of our research. What's actually going to be taken up based on the products that we generate. What I need from you is to be involved. How do you access knowledge? What are the channels that you use when you have a question that you'd like to solve? How do you go about finding that solution? How do you do that within the context of an international transboundary region? These are big questions, and I look for insights from all of you to figure out how to make this a success and how to make this happen. So what I'd like to do is actually turn it to you. I'd like to invite you to join this project, to join the Kini initiative. And Kini, incidentally, stands for, or it means current in Malaysian. And it's about a current of knowledge that's flowing between Australia and the Asia Pacific. And I'd like to invite you to join Kini. I'd invite you to inform us on the best ways to connect and share knowledge. And come speak with me. You can send me an email. My cards are currently being printed, and I will have them, or give me your card. You can like us on Facebook with the Australian Water Partnership. You can follow us on Twitter. You can connect with us through any of the multitude of social media channels that exist. We welcome you, and we'd like your input. And with that, I'd just like to conclude this very brief introduction. I'd love to hear your comments on the infographic and other infographics that might be useful for the development of this project. And I'd like to just thank you for your attention and for listening.
Thanks very much, Karen. I certainly look forward to seeing the outcome of Kini.